air again, but I always keep meaning to record these and I never do. So I would like to introduce you all to doTERRA and what our aim for helping everybody to support their own health is all about with doTERRA. And then we're going to talk a little bit on the subject of how using some amazing products and some lifestyle changes, how we can support our health. And you'll be quite surprised at what we're going to cover tonight. So I would like to pass over to doTERRA, to Deborah, who will tell you all about doTERRA.
So hi everyone. We're going to introduce you to doTERRA this evening. doTERRA is Latin for gifts of the earth, and they are comfortably the largest supplier of essential oils in the world. They had a couple of missions at the outset. One was to produce the best essential oil in the world, the purest. There wasn't a pure oil available anywhere in the world, so they raised the bar and introduced CPTG, that's certified pure and tested oils. They also wanted to do good with the profits. They wanted to improve the economic climate of impoverished communities. They're now approaching $3 billion of sales a year, which is massive. That speaks volumes, because you know that wouldn't happen if the product wasn't really good. And in fact, they've grown faster than the company Apple. So that's massive. They've grown faster in the first 10 years. They're operating in over 120 countries. They're opening in new countries every year. And what is great is that they've partnered with Western style clinics. So they've partnered with Prime Meridian, and they're opening integrative health clinics all over the world. They've also partnered with St. Elizabeth Healthcare, where they're working with oncology clinics, helping cancer survivors rehabilitate. So they really are a humanitarian organization with their Healing Hands Foundation. Next slide. So are you taking over here with the little video that we're going to watch?
Yes.
Yeah, lovely.
This is just a lovely video that just introduces more to you exactly what we are aiming for with the purest grade of oils. Sorry.
There are many gifts of the earth we receive daily: air, water, food, life. And what about health? There is a gift from the earth for our health, and that gift is found here in essential oils. Essential oils are the plant's natural medicine against bacteria, viruses, and diseases that attack the cells. Lavender puts up thistly hairs to protect the dynamic chemistry found in the oil sac. One drop of essential oil contains hundreds of unique compounds, offering powerful chemistry for fighting many different diseases. It's important to remember our bodies and plants have very similar building blocks. So, when we take these essential oils into our bodies, they are in a familiar environment, and they go to work on our behalf just as they would for the plant, killing bacteria, inhibiting virus reproduction, cleansing toxins, destroying parasites, oxygenating our cells, and boosting our immune systems. These essential oils don't just treat symptoms, they work at the root of the problem. At the cellular level, one of the greatest gifts for our health comes in this tiny, potent package. Major civilizations throughout the centuries recognized the capabilities of essential oils. Egyptian grave robbers would often steal the essential oils instead of the gold. Some of the first medical records from China show the use of essential oils. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, used oregano in his practice. Frankincense and myrrh were brought to the Christ child. Essential oils were used throughout the Dark Ages for their antibacterial benefits. And even in World War II, they were used successfully to treat injured soldiers. Today, we see essential oils are being studied extensively and are being used in some medical settings. Many studies have documented that 100% pure essential oils have the capacity to stop superbugs like MRSA, relieve chronic pain, elevate moods, restore cells, and aid in treating life-threatening diseases. Is this surprising? Well, most of the items found in your medicine cabinets and major pharmaceutical drugs originated from the study of the active medicinal properties of plants. Drug companies study these complex plant compounds and can synthetically recreate some of their attributes. Then proprietary fillers, additives, and modifications are made. Unfortunately, these modifications are foreign to our bodies, and as we know, can result in negative side effects and dependency. Fortunately, there is another way. Millions around the globe have experienced how powerful the potent compounds in essential oils can be without synthetics, fillers, or additives. And what's surprising is that the essential oils are often faster, safer, more effective, and less expensive than the synthetic products. doTERRA essential oils are the only certified pure therapeutic grade or CPTG essential oils available. What that represents is a standard by which doTERRA grows, harvests, and tests their oils. doTERRA sources their lavender from France, their lemon from Italy, frankincense from Oman. All of doTERRA's oils come from specific regions where altitude, climate, seasons, and soil create the perfect conditions to produce the most effective essential oils. Then artisans of these regions, in partnership with doTERRA, extract the essential oils from the plants with integrity and patience. doTERRA then tests well beyond industry standards to ensure every drop is certified pure therapeutic grade. They are safe for topical, aromatic, and even internal use. The intricacy and detail that nature gives in producing a pure essential oil is a miracle. doTERRA essential oils truly are a gift of the earth from all over the earth. What might these gifts have in store for you?
Well, that is just such a good video, and I've just learned something new from that every time I watch it. So where we are not against medication, you know, what we strive to do with doTERRA is to help everybody to take control of their own health and wellness so that we don't ever need to, you know, be ill long term. You know, we can prevent it at an early stage. And so we often talk about, you know, our wealth. Most people will just save for their wealth at a later stage, and most people do not make it through to retirement. So if we can look at being proactive with our healthcare and look at our first wealth should be our health. So within doTERRA, you know, we do not just sell you a product. We look at this whole wellness lifestyle, and we look at everything. We look at the whole lifestyle, starting from correct nutrition through to exercise, rest, managing stress, reducing toxic load. And we do lots of educational classes around all this, just simply to help as many people as possible to understand how easily we can support our immune system. You know, one of the easiest ways to help our immune system is to reduce the toxic load, you know, that we put on ourselves, you know, from the products that we apply, and how easy is it to change from toxic products to non-toxic products. And when you understand how the body needs to break down these toxins, then it's so much easier to look at ways of reducing your toxic load. So we do classes around green cleaning, we do sleep studies, you know, we look at the importance of exercise and fitness, and involving all of these beautiful oils can help the body with so many other things. So what we're going to look at tonight is looking at our gut health, right? And when we look at, you know, supporting the whole body, you know, looking further down the line, we are looking at NCDs, which are lifestyle factors that we can have a difference in, you know. So as well as gut health, you know, looking at gut health and how so many people are on long-term medication. Latest research is linking those proton pump inhibitors, whether they are your ranitidine, your lansoprazole, and just your basic antacids like your Gaviscon, etc. And now the latest research is linking that to, sorry, my screen flashed there, is linking it to dementia in later life. You know, and so we look at the easy stuff like reducing our stress, anxiety, depression, and using all of these oils. These are all lifestyle factors that we can have a say in at an early age before it becomes a problem. So for myself, it's quite interesting to look at how stress, 20 years of constant stress resulted in chronic gut issues for me. So when I was first introduced to doTERRA, looking at this leaflet was the first thing I looked at. And I looked at headaches and gut rashes, rashes and aches and pains. And I said to the guy, well, I'm fit and healthy. Why would I need oils? And straight away he said, do you get headaches? And I go, well, yes, but I always take aspirins. Do you get heartburn? Well, yes, I reach for antacids. Do you have skin rashes? Well, yes, I just reach for a cream. And there you can see the pattern. We're so used to reaching for medication to mask what we think are ailments. And these are not, these are symptoms. So headaches are a symptom of an underlying factor. Your skin rashes doesn't necessarily mean to say something you have touched. It is often the body's way of telling you you have an underlying problem. But we are so used to, as a whole generation, because that is the way we have been brought up, to reach for the aspirins, the creams, etc. So long-term use of these seemingly harmless over-the-counter medication is causing us problem long-term. So my own story, constant stress that I didn't even realize was stress plays havoc on the body. And so instead of addressing that stress, constant stress resulted in really bad inflammation in the gut, which led to really bad problems. So I had to resort to researching this myself, because every time I went to the doctors, it would be put in a stool sample, there's nothing showing, so in other words, it's in my head, and the best that they ever come up with is IBS. Well, I know I have an irritated bowel. I want you to tell me how. And they don't. You have to wait months, if not, especially in the pandemic at the moment, 18 to 24 months to get an appointment to go and see a consultant. And all they do is give you the camera up or the camera down and just say your gut is inflamed. And what do? They give you more antibiotics. And so all of these just add to the whole problem. So when I researched it myself, I came across leaky gut. And we're going to talk about leaky gut. So I would like to share with you, how I healed my gut, and how I got to the bottom of it. So you will see as we progress through here, doTERRA do a great range to help us cleanse and restore. So I did the cleanse and restore and then wondered, why do I not feel any better? I missed out one crucial step, and that is the very, very first step. And that's what I'm going to introduce you to here. So leaky gut is a term that is used for when we have permeabilization of the lining of the intestines. And if you can imagine that lining as a net, and that net protects the bloodstream from all of the toxic waste that is going through your intestines, right? Your intestines will absorb the nutrition, but what we don't want absorbed through the intestines are any of the other waste products going through, right? So if you look at this one, it's a little bit more clearer. So the waste that is going through your intestines will contain toxins, microorganisms, gluten, parasites, so much that is just on it. That's why it's called waste. The body doesn't need it, it has to get rid of it. But if we have these small little gaps in your net, right, it's called leaky gut. It's allowing these toxins to seep through and into the bloodstream. Now, then our body is good at, targeting problems. It will go and it will start off in the immune response to go and fight an invader, because that's what our body does. That's what the immune system does. But if you are constantly doing this, your body is going to get overwhelmed. So if you think how many times you eat in a day and how many times the body has to start fighting all of this, things are going to get on top of the immune system. And then this is when autoimmunity starts, right? This is when we get inflammation in the body. This is when it all starts turning on itself. But this doesn't happen overnight. This is over a period of time, but it is easy to fix, right? And when we look at this inflammation that is being caused, the chronic inflammation is at the root of most diseases, right? And medical research now is now leading into this. You know, they are looking a lot closer at it instead of fobbing everything off. This is such a lovely slide to look at, and this is of one of the other ladies in our team, and she explained it lovely. You know, if you look at this slide, acute inflammation, we need acute inflammation in the body as a warning sign to tell us we have a problem, right? If we did not have that acute inflammation, which causes pain, you wouldn't know you had a problem, and it could kill us, right? So the acute inflammation is the first marker that you have a problem, right? And so you know yourself when you cut yourself, you know, your acute inflammation just kicks in, you know, your white blood cells go to the site and they start healing it. So it will form a clot, stop the blood leaking out of your body, and it will start to heal and repair. It's quite interesting to look at some of the things that are classed there as acute inflammation. Allergic reaction. Now then, let me just mention what is one of the most common allergic reactions. Hay fever. How many people put up with hay fever? We fob it off, don't we? We fob it off. Year after year, we fob it off. We use nasal sprays. You know, if you haven't already used your natural antihistamines that we can use with our beautiful oils, you're just using chemicals after chemicals to deal with the symptoms of hay fever. Now, hay fever is an allergic reaction, but you're addressing the symptoms. You're not getting the bottom of what's causing it. And so, you know, your acute inflammation is kicking in, you know, the runny nose to get rid of the germs and everything. But over time, that will turn into chronic inflammation. The same there is a trauma injury. Now, a trauma doesn't have to be a physical injury, right? It could be an emotional injury. And how many of us do not address those emotional issues, and we put them at the back of our mind and we don't deal with it. Now, that over time, right, can come into chronic inflammation in the body. You know, there's so much that we can now start and look at and learn, you know, and being part of doTERRA, you know, we help everybody to start looking at how we can get to the root causes, you know, and by being aware of all of this, you know, we can prevent hopefully chronic inflammation, which leads to these diseases in later life, right? So it's just interesting to have a quick look at that slide on confusing symptoms. On, you know, straight away we think of the gut, and if I don't have a pain in my gut, then I haven't got leaky gut, right? Would you think depression, anxiety, and other mood disorders would be an indicator of leaky gut? Asthma, we wouldn't put that down. But again, you know, these are symptoms, right? And the biggest one for me is as soon as anybody says, do you have some oils for eczema? You know, yes, you know, beautiful oils such as lavender will deal with your skin issue, but we need to look at what's causing the eczema. And often it is our gut health, you know, so it's just so interesting to look further than, you know, the status quo and what we are told, you know, so we can help get to the bottom of everything. You know, again, you know, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, even headaches, you know, and a lot of our gut issues are going to stem from the food that we eat. So this is all quite interesting where this has taken us. So what causes leaky gut? Leaky gut doesn't just happen one day. You know, you don't wake up one day and tomorrow you've got leaky gut. It will happen over time, right? SIBO is small intestines, bacterial overgrowth. We shouldn't have any bacteria in the small intestines, right? It should all have been sorted before it ever reaches there, right? High in alcohol intake, right? That is drinking, you know, excessively, even excessively could be two, 3 drinks a day over time. Stress and anxiety, again, you know, there's that emotional trauma sneaking in, you know, how it can affect the gut, because stress produces inflammation, and inflammation will go in your gut and it'll cause all of these problems. You know, food insensitivity, bacterial imbalance, parasitic infections. So I'm sorry if you haven't had your tea yet, you know, but we absorb microbes and parasites all the time. Normally they work their way out, you know, but sometimes they may not. You know, it's the same as your bacterial imbalance. You know, depending on what you do, we need bacteria in the gut. And the bad bacteria, the likes of your candida, because most people know what candida is, when you have that good gut balance, they work in harmony together. It's when the good bacteria is lowered and the bad bacteria overtake that we start getting all the symptoms. So we need to be working on the good balance in the gut, right? We're looking at the diet, stress again, excessive use of painkillers, right? In there would be antibiotics as well. In there would be long-term use of medication because of the synthetics in medication, right? Even pregnancy, menopause, you know, they all have an effect on our gut health. No wonder the poor gut gets overwhelmed. So we're going to have a look at how we're going to repair our leaky gut, and we'll start with the first one, and that is to remove what is causing the gut. So we're going to have a quick look here at diet, and I'm going to give you some tips, and we're just going to touch on it because, you know, as much as I would like to talk all night, I know you haven't got all night. So we're just going to touch on one way you can look at your diet, and then obviously you can go and research it more. Important thing is to plan, prepare, and then perform, right? It has taken years to get your gut health in the state it is. You are not going to repair it overnight, but you can start on a process, you know, over the next few weeks and see what works for you, right? So don't think this is just going to happen in a week, but it will over, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks. So we always say we are what we eat. We all know we shouldn't eat the rubbish and the processed foods, and I know we all do, but you'd be surprised to see here that some of the food we think of is healthy will not be doing you much good if you have leaky gut, right? Simply because a lot of food are in a group of foods called FODMAPs that stand for fermentable oligodimonosaccharides and polyols. And these foods, when we have that inflamed gut, the bacteria that they generate irritates the gut lining even more, right? And that will put pressure on where you have gas, bloating, cramping. You know, the FODMAPs are different from fermented foods, right? So don't get confused with that, because you'll have heard that fermented foods are great for your gut bacteria. Yes, they are in your diet, but not when we're looking to fix the leaky gut. These types of food, right, come in a group of carbohydrates that will be fermented by the bacteria in our gut, right? So what you need to do is look at all the foods that are on high FODMAPs, and we're going to swap them with low FODMAPs. It's as easy as that. And if you can't live without, you know, something in the high FODMAPs, you can just reintroduce them 4 to 5 weeks down the line, one at a time, and just see how your body reacts against them, right? Because if you can pinpoint what is making you feel sick, why would you continue eating it? You know, but unfortunately trying to get people to change their diets, you know, but there's so much more that we can swap them for. So I was quite surprised when I looked at this, because those vegetables at the bottom, garlic, onions, cauliflower, mushrooms, peas, celery, leeks, cabbages, right, were all in my staple food that I thought when I'm making casseroles and I'm putting veg on the plates for everybody, it was a healthy diet. It is healthy, but not when you have an irritated, you know, inflamed gut. So it's just interesting to look at these and swap them for your low FODMAPs, right? So easy. You're still eating your fruits and your vegetables, you're just eating different ones. Just interesting that when you do go and research your FODMAPs, you know, to do it a good 4 to 6 weeks, you really need to take out dairy, right? Because dairy, especially cow's milk, is one of the worst offenders for irritating your gut lining. Children especially, you know, if you have children that already have gut issues, even babies, you know, look at the cow's milk. Because there's so much additives in there. The poor cows are pumped full of steroids, hormones, and this is all passed in the milk. Another thing as well is when you're looking at dairy and cow's milk is go organic, because the grains that cows are fed on, right, can be passed through the milk through to us. And if you have gluten intolerances, that can be passed back through. So when we're looking at doing this, you know, avoid dairy, avoid alcohol, avoid caffeine, because caffeine will irritate your gut even more. And if you can, avoid gluten. Now, then gluten is very interesting. When we start looking into gluten, we often think of just wheat and rye, but gluten can come in so many forms and so many hidden forms. So it's just, again, you know, interesting to look at virtually everything you're eating and see, you know, just have a look at it on everything, because what you have eaten for years and years, you can become intolerant to, right? Don't assume because you've eaten it for 20 to 30 years, you know, that could be causing you the problem. And so it's just interesting to see there, you know, we don't have to rely on garlic and onions to flavour the food. You know, there's so much more that we can flavour with. And it's interesting as well that all of our essential oils that are safe to use internally, you can use in your cooking. So much cheaper and more effective and more flavoursome than getting the fresh herbs, you know, because the essential oils are so much more concentrated. And Deborah does a lovely class on including oils. Deborah, when's your class due? Is it due soon?
I think it's the second week in October.
Fabulous. And that is a great class to come and learn how we can incorporate these oils into our cooking. And so just be aware that when you do start on your FODMAPs, plan, keep a food diary, right? Don't just start doing it, because if you're anything like me, I can't remember what I ate yesterday, never mind 2 weeks ago. You know, to start introducing things into the diet, so keep a food diary, and then you can monitor more, you know. And when you start to introduce your foods back in, do them one at a time, but give them something like a week before you add something else in, right? Because you don't want to get that crossover effect, and you may, you know, just introduce back in the food and keep the wrong one out. So just talking there a little bit back on the gluten, you know, gluten-free grains, you know, I, for one, on rice on there, I'm quite fine on wheat, but I really struggle with rice. And I always thought it was the starch in rice, and always made a way of rinsing the starch off the rice. But the rice itself, it contains a different type of gluten. So it's just quite interesting to research more into gluten. And, you know, oats, you know, we swap wheat for oat products, right? But oats, and certainly when you have oats, you should certainly have organic oats, because they're one of the most heavily sprayed crops on the go. But they also have a type of gluten in them called avenin, right? And so it's just interesting to look at what you think is gluten-free may not be gluten-free. And also we can have cross-contamination as well. So coffee is gluten-free, right? Because it's not from what it's made from a bean. Organic coffee is best, but processed and instant coffees can be cross-contaminated. They could be in a field next to what is being sprayed. So therefore, you know, you just need to really go and research everything when you are having your gut issues, right? And then it's just saying there who should be concerned about coffee, you know, more those with rheumatoid arthritis, right? Because it's going to aggravate it even more. You know, type 1 diabetes, Hashimoto's. It's just interesting to look at the things that you eat and drink all the time. Is that affecting me? When am I getting a flare up? You know, and it may not be within, I was saying that sometimes you could have an instant reaction. So I've noticed more and more now that after I have a cup of coffee and a biscuit, my stomach flares up. So I need to look at, is it the coffee? It may not even be the coffee. I could have the purest coffee, but if I have added coffee mate, what is in that coffee mate, right? If I've added cream, then I've added dairy, right? So although the coffee might be fine, what I'm adding into it is not. And then obviously the biscuit is not gluten, what was in the biscuit. And so I'm looking more and more, because you do this elimination process, you will notice more when it kicks off your gut health. Right? So how to repair your leaky gut after we have removed, you know, all of the processed food, your additives, your refined sugar. Artificial sweeteners should be absolutely destroyed, because of they are really bad for your health overall, you know. So try and cut out your artificial sweeteners, only use, you know, your stevia, your honey, you know, pure honey, and cut down on your stress. We have some beautiful oils that help reduce stress, you know, from our adaptive blend to lavender to even bergamot. Bergamot is one of the most amazing oils that is good for everything, and I certainly recommend it to everybody, from good sleep to reducing stress. Then we're going to replace your diet. So while you are on this elimination phase, look at what you can eat and how you can eat it. So bone broth is one of the best things that you can eat, and make your own, but just a good tip, if you use organic chicken, cook the chicken first and use the chicken, because when you've boiled it for 48 hours, it doesn't taste very nice, and it adds all the fat into your bone broth. So you just really want bones and lots of vegetables. Start doing your own fermented vegetables, because we need to replace the good bacteria once we start working on getting rid of the bad bacteria. Steamed vegetables, raw vegetables, incorporating ginger, turmeric, and quite a lot of the essential oils will help your gut. So this just touches on one of the kits that I mentioned before. And I just want to talk to you about a few of the products that are in here, because once we have looked at 4 to 6 weeks of changing the diet and feeling the diet is better, we then need to work on getting rid of all of the bad bacteria in the gut, as well as all of the toxins in the system. So it's then a good idea to go on to a 30-day program of cleansing and restoring. So many oils that we can use that are going to help the body to detox, and we should be using these on a regular daily basis anyway, whether you have bad gut health or not, because the body needs to detox all of the waste, all of the heavy metals, and using some of these beautiful oils, on a daily basis, the likes of your lemon, your orange, your bergamot. These are great oils for detoxing, thyme, rose. It's just interesting there as well, when we're looking at some of these essential oils as well, for not only the detox, but the gut health. And I just honed in there on the peppermint. Peppermint is amazing for gut health. But so many people are prescribed peppermint tablets off the doctor. They just add to the problem because they are a commercial supplement and they are coated. But so many people take them and then think, oh, peppermint doesn't work for me. Try using the pure peppermint to see the difference. And so we work with all of these oils and to detox and support the gut. doTERRA also do full detoxification blends, so over the 30 days you use the blend to help detox the whole body. And there's a lovely range of oils in there as well. So they changed this. Initially it used to have the grapefruit, but they have changed it now to tangerine peel. So lifelong vitality pack, when we go back to giving the body everything it needs. As we get older, our body absorbs less nutrition anyway from our food. So when you added with the fact that due to farming practices, there's less nutrition in the food, we have that double whammy. So it's important, especially as we age, that you take correct, good quality supplements. And it's just interesting to see the lifelong vitality range that doTERRA do, and just over a month supply. It's quite interesting there to see what we would need to eat to get the equivalent of what the body needs in the serving. And I know myself, although I like eggs, I'm not going to eat 1,000 eggs in a month, or 7.6 kilos of broccoli, so very, very interesting there to see what we need from our vitamins and minerals and what can be supplied with doTERRA. And myself personally, I felt when I was so ill with my gut health, and I'd lost my mojo as well. Every time I went to the doctors, I was like, there must be something wrong with my thyroid because my mojo has gone somewhere, without realizing all of this education about what was happening to my body as I'm getting older. And then, of course, obviously, I've got this bad chronic gut issues as well. Obviously, I'm not absorbing the nutrition, so good supplementation is ideal. Zengest is an absolute godsend for me. This is the oils that got me off my ranitidine. My husband doesn't need to use his lansoprazole anymore. I certainly never use Gaviscon anymore, and I just love the comparison there of the cost. Whoever uses a 5 ml serving of Gaviscon, I used to drink it by the bottle full, and after about 3 months that bottle would crystallize and you couldn't use it anyway. So Zengest is more cost effective, though that bottle of oil will last you up to 7 years, when you keep the lid on and store it in a safe place. I never last that long because I use it as a wellness protocol every day. So every morning I take 2 drops of this with 2 drops of lemon oil, because the lemon oil helps detox the system, but it's also alkaline, so it's very good for your GI tract. So I use this as a wellness protocol. When I came off my medication, I used 2 drops at night, 2 drops in the morning, and then I worked down on the medication until I was only taking Zengest, and I've never touched medication since. For the last 2 years I literally just use Zengest. So we also use Terrazyme, GX Assist and PB Assist within this 30-day cleanse, and so we'll touch a little bit more on these as we go through them. So the Terrazyme is a blend of whole food enzymes which help support us to get the correct nutrition. It just helps on that absorption from our food and into the bloodstream. And it's very interesting to see a Terrazyme when you open that capsule. If you have a dish of porridge that stood there and it solidifies, you actually take a Terrazyme, break it and mix it in with the porridge, it turns it to liquid. So that's very interesting, because that is what it's going to be doing in your digestive gut. So often if I've eaten too much and too late and I can feel it all sitting there, I will actually take some Terrazyme, because I know it's going to break down the food that I'm struggling with. We're going to talk about the GX and the PB Assist as we go through. So that is just the Terrazyme. You know, it's also good if you're lactose intolerant, and helps with lactose intolerance and gas, you know, if you've eaten something that you shouldn't have. And obviously they've replaced the Maltese in here with anti-gluten enzyme blends, just to make it better for everybody on the gut health. Just a word on the GX Assist is it's not vegan. They are working on a vegan alternative, so you can use these blends of oils in place of the GX Assist capsules. So the GX 10-day assist, sorry, the 10-day cleanse, what this will do is it will go through the gut and the whole channels, and it will start pulling out and destroying all the bad bacteria. The caryophyllenic acid is amazing for candida overgrowth. You know, so this is like a super duper intense natural antibiotic course, right? But it's not synthetic antibiotics. Really good for killing all the bad bacteria. But then when we kill that bad bacteria, we want to get the balance right. So we're going to introduce good bacteria. So the PB Assist is a 10-day restore kit. And I take one of these every day anyway to help with the balance in my gut. We have over 5 billion probiotics in each capsule. Probably there'll only be about 2 billion of those will reach the gut where they're needed. So a lot of your drinks, you know, your Yakovs and all of these probiotic drinks are destroyed before they ever get anywhere near your gut. And that is where you need the good bacteria to be, you know, not being destroyed in your gastric juices as it comes down. So it took me a while to get my head around prebiotics and probiotics. So probiotics are the bacteria. Prebiotics is fiber. So the fiber feeds the probiotic to help it grow and help it populate in our gut. So doterras are very clever on these time-release capsules. So as they go through the digestive tract, you know, the probiotic is feeding off the prebiotic, so it gives it a chance to get through all of the gastric juices and get in the gut where it needs to get. If your children suffer from gut issues and you want them, you know, to get their level right, we do probiotics in children's. It tastes like sherbet, fizzes in the mouth and everything, and that is very good to introduce that good bacteria to the children. So DDR Prime are soft gels, and they are part of this cleanse and restore. And DDR Prime is DNA repair. So these are especially good just to help the cells, you know, to repair and recover from any illness, any trauma. You know, I take a drop of this oil every day just to help the cells, you know, stay healthy. So going back to, you know, supporting the immune system, it is not just one thing that we need to concentrate on, it is everything, you know, and to ensure good health and not just your good gut health. Lots of factors go into this, as well as just working on your cleanse to restore. Our bodies work on a 24-hour system, and so it's interesting. We do classes on this, but obviously I haven't got time today. So I just want to touch on how you can help your gut health when you look at what the body does on a 24-hour system. You know, we work with the moon, you know, and the sun, and your body is on this 24-hour cycle. So it's just interesting there, if you look between 2100 and 23 for our gut health. Avoid eating after 9 o'clock at night, because when cavemen, you know, they would sleep when it was dark, and they would hunt and be active and need energy when it was light. So the body shuts down and expects the body to be sleeping. So it shuts down the systems that it doesn't need to conserve the energy for what it does on the next 12-hour cycle. So if you look at there, your body, your digestive system closes down for about 9 o'clock. You can think, your body thinks the kitchen is shut. If you are eating at that time of night, right, you will activate your digestive juices, but your digestive system won't do anything with it. So it will just sit there and bubble away, and it will add to heartburn and indigestion problems. It won't kick back in again until tomorrow. So one of the easiest ways to cut down on that discomfort is don't eat after 9 o'clock at night, right? And there's also another reason why you shouldn't eat after 9 o'clock at night. When you look at fasting versus time restricted eating, if you want to help your body and you want to lose some weight, one of the easiest ways to do it is to fast. Our bodies were not meant to eat 24/7, right? So if you look at fasting on 8-hour slots, right, we generally sleep for 8 hours and we're generally active for 16 hours, but don't eat on your 16 hours, right? If you can start with not eating for 12 hours, your body will thank you for it, right? It will not store fat. If you are eating for 16 hours, your body starts and stores that as fat. So help your body by fasting. Look at, 12 and 12. And when you sleep, it's so easy to fast, right? People think, oh, I couldn't not eat for 12 hours. Well, do that 2 hours before you sleep, 2 hours before you wake up, there's 12 hours. So if you can stretch that, the more your body gets used to your routine, you can easily go for eating an 8-hour window and fasting for 16, because anything after 12 hours of not eating, your body will thank you for it. It'll be healthier, right? You'll help the cells, right? So very, very interesting. And I just think that's quite a nice picture to put on there anyway. So looking at sleep as well, we need to sleep. You have to have at least a good 8-hour sleep a night to help your body regenerate, right? It will work on your gut health. It will work on all your systems, right? When we sleep, we conserve energy so the body can use that energy to restore. And we have so many beautiful oils in the doTERRA range that will help you with sleep. At this moment in time, and there just happens to be the top 2 on there, I'm working with cedarwood and bergamot. Now, last month, I was probably using vetiver and lavender. And so, we can chop and change and try different oils. If you find one night something doesn't work, then try something different the next night. Clary sage is a great oil if you are in perimenopause or menopause, because it will help balance the hormones as well. So it's so interesting when we look at all these oils, because all these oils work at a cellular level in the body, and they will work in ways that we are not even aware of. So it's so interesting to look at all of the health benefits, because there may be 20 to 30 different uses for each oil. So interesting, to start using these oils. And we don't have to be experts to use our oils either. So when everybody joins doTERRA, we help educate people and show everybody how they can get this education. The whole idea of doTERRA is to help support everybody to learn for themselves and support their own health and wellness. Right, we achieve this through loads of Facebook support groups, continuing education classes like this one, lots of coaching and training. We help you to get the very best from your account. We introduce you to so many other people where we can get all of the information from. Dr. Josh asks, holistic practitioner, so much information that he shares, and it's not just about herbs and spices and oils to use, but lots of lifestyle tips, to help keep us healthy. Within doTERRA as well, we have so much education for everybody to come and learn. So make sure, you know, you work with the person who you're connected with to find all this information. It is all there readily available to help us be our own holistic healers in our homes, right? And a healthy and safe alternative for all the family. We give you all this education, safety first, every step of the way, you know, especially when working with babies and toddlers. You know, babies and toddlers, and certainly right up to teenagers, should never take oils internally, and babies may only need a fraction of a drop of an oil. So if you have not already experienced doTERRA oils, we use them per drop for adults. You know, so you can imagine babies and toddlers, a fraction. So we always safety first and show you how to use these for everybody. And your dogs, right? They're great for your animals as well, but safety first again on how to use them. So how do you begin your own oils journey if you have not already joined us? It is so easy. You know, you open up your own account online. You know, whoever has introduced you to this class will help you. And we simply open up our own account. You have access to the shop 24/7. You can open a retail account, but we advise not, because why would you when everybody can get 25% off all their oils with a customer membership? That membership is the same as a Costco membership. It is a one-off payment, £24 a year, and you get 25% off everything. When you come to renew it, it's £18, and you get a free bottle of peppermint with it. Costco doesn't give you that. Starter kits are the best value when you want a selection of oils, because they are cheaper again, and they often come gifted with your membership. And you may also get lots of other free things that go with that starter kit. Changes every month. You do not have to start on a starter kit. You can start on any combination. I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. You know, because doTERRA do over 140 oils and blends, and all of the products, you know, like the supplements, like the JXPB, and everything to do with the gut cleanser. These are just a couple of examples for you. So the Family Essential Kit is an ideal medicine cabinet in the home. These are your 10 core oils that will cover everything. These smaller bottles contain 80 drops of oil, so they are ideal when you just use them in the home. Very, very good value at 117, so that's about £11.70 per bottle. And as I said before, you know, your oils can last up to 7 years. Your citrus oils will last for about 2 years. At the moment, if you are new and just joining us with doTERRA, there's a free 50ml bottle of wild orange that goes with that kit as well. So this is our most popular starter kit. This is 3 times the oil for twice the price. So these ml bottles contain 240 drops of oil, and with that kit you get gifted a free diffuser. And also this month you are getting a free bottle of copaiba and wild orange. And have I got it there? And if you're in Europe, we have all of these freebies as well. So that was just the promotion that's on this month. Just to touch on there, that 30-day program, the Cleanse and Restore Kit, and it's advisable for everybody to do a Cleanse and Restore at least once a year, because it will do a parasite cleanse, it will get rid of the bad bacteria, and it will just start you off for the whole year. And that starts where that is 246, and you will get lots of help and support with that in a protocol on how to do that over a 30-day period. If you are wanting to do the Cleanse and Restore Kit, I cannot stress enough that you look at your diet first, right? And you follow a low FODMAP food and swapping and changing until you feel like you have fixed your leaky gut, and then start with your Cleanse and Restore. So your next steps and for ongoing support is you just reach out to the person who invited you to this class. You know, they will be your contact, and they will quite happily talk you through all of your options and what would be good starting point for. Once you join us here at doTERRA, you will get a new member induction class, and they will go through everything with you and show you how to get started and give you protocols. You know, we do not just leave you to get on with it. You know, you do have a contact, you do have support for life when you join us at doTERRA. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? You know, you will find that out, but you can come and join us and learn as much as you like. There's nothing worse than when you buy a product and then don't know how to use it. You know, you get as much help and support for any health issues that you have. We will help support you and you become part of our oily community. You know, so much training, education available for you to join us. So doTERRA changes lives, why not yours? You know, so I hope you enjoyed that class and enjoyed the journey that I've been on with doTERRA, and I find it really helps support my health. And we can do this quite often, you know, now and again I will find that my gut health will kick off. So I've been under a lot of stress lately and I can feel my gut health is. So now I need to go back and readdress all of this as well, and then start and look at what is irritating the gut because I've got a bit stressed. And so I need to calm everything down. And that the process will only take 2 to 3 weeks, you know, so go through it because it does work. So I'm quite happy to take any questions if anybody would like to ask any. And it's all gone quiet. You can all unmute yourselves if anybody needs to.
Do we know who's on the iPhone?
It's probably Ruth, I think. Is it Ruth? Have you joined us late on the iPhone?
Is he Ruth? Do you mean? Is he?
No.
Oh.
No, another one of my ladies, Ruth, I think her iPad keeps coming up as iPad. Yeah, I'll find out if she did, Deborah. So I hope you all enjoyed that. And if you have any questions, please go back to the person who invited you on this class. And I'm always just a message away if anybody needs any help and support on your gut health. So thank you for joining me. And there is a class on tomorrow night if anybody is interested in learning more about how essential oils can help support your emotional wellness. So Rachel tomorrow does an amazing class, and so we get a lot more education about how the oils work with the brain, the emotions, the body. Very, very interesting class. 7 p.m. UK time tomorrow. So just reach out to invite you to this class and they will send you the link for that. So thank you all very much, and I hope you all have a lovely evening. If nobody wants to ask any questions, if anybody does, they can just stay on until the end. All right.
Didn't mean to butt in. That was Eric. That's Erica on the iPhone.
Right. Is that Erica who was Tina's guest?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. And I seem to think that iPhone is that Ruth Lee on the iPhone?
No, it's Erica on the iPhone.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, her laptop shut down, so she's coming on her iPhone.
Right.
Okay. All right then, I'm going to say goodbye. That's an awesome class, Janet. Thank you.
You are more than welcome. Thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you same time next week.
Yes. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye, Lucy. Bye, Tina. Bye, Fatima.
Bye, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording.